Does your 2007 to 2013 Toyota Tundra need an improvement in cooling? Well, we've got the solution for you. Step one for our master technician, Peter, is to drain the coolant, but before that you've got to pull the skid plate, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. You got to take the skid plate off, and really that's just to get to the drain plug. And there's 4 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this large grommet holding the skid plate on. It should be relatively easy to remove here. It pops out. There we go, skid plate is out. Here's our radiator drain plug. You want to just get a bucket underneath here, crack it loose, and it will slowly start draining.
Yeah, there she goes.
While the coolant drains, now is a good time to remove the clutch fan, and it's got to come off because we need to tuck it into the shroud to remove everything in one piece. There's 4 nuts holding it in place here, as you can see, and they're a little tricky to get off. So what you're going to need to do is grab 2 12mm wrenches. And as you can see, I've got an extension on my other side here. And what you do is you hook everything together and you pull it up, and it should crack a bolt loose, and then you go around and do the rest of them. Just like this. There we go. That one's cracked, and then you just move on and do the other 3. Now I'm down to 1 tight bolt and 3 loose ones, and the play here is to actually tighten one of the other ones while you loosen the other one, so that the tight one, and then that will give it a little bit of play, and then you should be able to knock it off when all the other ones are loose. I hope that made sense, but what I'm gonna do here is crack this one. See, I'm tightening the other one right now, but there we go. Now I've cracked that one loose, and that leaves us with this guy here to loosen again, but because it's been loosened, it should come off easier. There we go. That's all 4 that are loose, so we can now proceed to take the fan off. Now we're just gonna take the fan and place it into the shroud and leave it. Notice that I have my safety glasses on. That's how much I fear these types of clamps. They're a locking mechanism style. As you can see, this one's a wee bit on the rusty side, and they love to pop if you can't get them to line up properly. There's a special tool that actually you're supposed to use that will lock this into here, and then it should hold. But a regular set of pliers can do the job. There we go. Now it's locked in place. It's almost like a hand grenade. You never know when it's going to go off, so handle with care. Slide that out of the way. That's off, and we'll just wrap that around the filler neck here and leave it there for a second. Perfect. This clamp looks like it is rusted beyond belief. I'm still going to attempt to take it off, but I think we're going to have to replace it with a more conventional hose clamp. So I foresee this one, yeah, just crumbling here. Yikes.
Wow, man, she's done.
That one's done. There still could be coolant in here, which has me a little worried. Yep.
Not
I
much.
was really hoping not to get wet, but that wasn't bad. All right. There's this diversion plate here that directs air towards the radiator, and it is attached to the radiator, so we're gonna have to pop a couple of plugs here. So there's 3 of them here, and once you pop them all out and do like I do, drop them directly into the abyss that is the front bumper area here, this panel should be free, and when we pull the rad up, it's not going to give us problems. Now it's actually time to remove the bolts that hold the radiator in place, and there is 4 of them. So there's one here, one down there, and one on the other side right in front of our oil cooler, and another one on the lower side. This one is the easiest one to get to. The other ones may require some extensions, but let's start with this one here.
Oh yeah.
There's one. As you can see, this one's a little bit trickier to get to, but there's enough space in between the plastic bumper and the rebar here to get at it. So we'll just crack it loose and remove it.
Bolt number 3.
Well, this may be an option on some of your trucks. So if you've got an oil cooler, you're gonna have to loosen it and move it out of the way so we can get to our area for bolt number 3. Unfortunately, this one's not coming nicely.
She's a wee bit rusty.
With the oil cooler somewhat loose, I got a wobble extension here, and I can reach behind and try to get the bolt or the socket onto the bolt, and then get this thing all loosened off so we don't have to take any more bolts out of the oil cooler. Less bolts is always better, right?
Especially when they're rusty and look like they might shear off.
That's right. Oh, wow. The rust is tight.
Yep.
But on the bright side, we have a bolt that's coming out.
Here's the last bolt, the bottom passenger side bolt, which you can get at through the lower grill opening here. So time for Pete to work his magic.
Yeah, the camera's not going to fit in there
No.
or be able to show you much of anything. So we're going through the top of the bumper area here.
Come on,
I don't have the leverage, damn it.
Get angry, Pete. Get angry.
There we go. All right.
Yes. Big boys out of there.
The only thing that we're reusing off of the old Rad is the shroud, for obvious reasons. So it's only 2 bolts at the top here to remove, and then comes right off. And oh, I should probably remove this rubber hose there, and we can transfer that onto our new Rad.
Well, while I bolt the fan shroud up to the back of our Koyo Rad here, I'll tell you a little bit more about it and why we're installing it. This uses their HH series core. It's a 48mm core, which is designed to have more capacity than the factory radiator. So this will give us more cooling capacity in terms of water volume. It's also apparently designed to have better airflow characteristics and better water flow characteristics too. So all in all, it should improve water flow and overall efficiency of the cooling system, which we haven't honestly run into any major cooling issues with the truck yet, but we do a lot of towing, and we figured why not make the upgrade while we have the opportunity. One of the big advantages to this all aluminum construction, by the way, is you have a full aluminum end tank, which is never going to crack the way the plastic end tanks can on a factory style radiator. So it gives us better security, better durability as far as like not having to run into that cracked end cap scenario, which I have run into before on a variety of OEM radiators. So that's really the main advantages to going to this radiator. And I mean, if you have your factory Rad fail on you, why not make the upgrade to something like this, which is more durable, has more capacity, better cooling, and frankly is probably less expensive than a replacement OEM Rad too. So it's not a terribly expensive radiator. So all in all, I think it's a big win for us. Now that I've got this bolted up, we're ready to slap it back in there, I think, Pete.
Now comes the part where you just reverse everything what you did to remove the radiator, and you put it back in. Don't forget to include the clutch fan back inside the shroud, because if you forget it, you're not going to be able to put it back in when the radiator's in.
Not going to fit in there, huh? Since the coolant was very recently changed, we're just going to reuse it, dump it straight out of this bucket back into the system. Try not to make a mess. Try not to spill it all over myself. Looks like nothing's leaking, so it's time to bleed the system. Literally just top it up with fluid, leave a little in the reservoir here, and pump the hoses to try to burp the air out of there. You can see we got some bubbles coming up here as I pump this upper hose. Once we run the motor long enough, we should have it fully bled. I think at that point we're good to go. It's time to put on the Koyo Rad cap. And I think that means we're done, Peter.
That's a wrap on this episode.
That is a wrap. My 2008 Toyota Tundra is ready for anything we throw at it. Supercharger, overlanding. We got a better cooling system, a more rugged cooling system.
See, they always break, but they don't break in the right spot. They don't break, so it's easy to take them off. Now I gotta struggle with this thing and bend it all up here and get it out of the damn way.
It's hard being you, PT. It's hard being you.